Today, it's President's Day here in the US. This holiday was established in 1885 to honor President George Washington. Later, this holiday became a national holiday where every year we remember the presidents and honor them that have come before us and the current president who's leading this country of the brave. I am extremely proud to be an American. I'm a Pakistani American and a citizen of this beautiful country I call home. You might be watching this video and rolling your eyes at me, and I totally understand it. Here in the US, and even if you look all around the world, there is a sense of separation amongst people. There is a sense of animosity amongst leadership and political parties. And because of all of this, people like myself are having a hard time trusting in our governments and our leaders and our presidents. And I totally understand that. But that is not the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is to remind you why we celebrate this holiday. It's not just a day off, but it's a day where we honor our leaders, good or bad. I know, hang with me. You might be, again, rolling your eyes at me and saying, it's really hard to do that today. But I just wanted to remind you, leaders that are above us are appointed by people, and I understand that. But there is a creator God who is way bigger, way more powerful, who is king over everything. In Revelation chapter 19, verse 16, it says it this way. And he has on his robe and on his thigh a name written, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. This is describing Jesus as the victorious king over everything. He's not just a king, Jesus is the King of Kings. He's not just a Lord, meaning owner who possesses lands and things. He's not just a Lord, he is the Lord of Lords. Always remember that if you have a president that you may not agree with or you may not like, Jesus is the president of that president. So whatever circumstances that are going on in this country, in the US, or all around the world, and if you are living under leadership, we are called to be respectful and honor our leaders. We are to pray for them. In Daniel chapter 2, Nebuchadnezzar, who was a king of Babylon, who took Israel, God's people, into exile. Nebuchadnezzar has a dream from God, and Daniel comes and helps him interpret the dream for him. It was a supernatural dream, and Nebuchadnezzar had a sense that this was a dream from God. So Daniel comes into the picture. The prophet Daniel, ordained and anointed by God, a Jewish prophet, comes and helps an unbelieving and a non-Jewish king who puts these people in exile. Now Daniel comes out and wants to help his king, who is king over Babylon, meaning who's king over everyone, Babylon and Israel. And Daniel comes and prays to God for 3 days, and God gives him the meaning of this dream. Daniel chapter 2, starting from verse 20. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changes the times and the seasons. He removes kings and raises up kings. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to those who have understanding. I just wanted to draw your attention to how Daniel praises God. Daniel is praising God for being a wonderful king. Daniel is praising God that you are blessed forever, God. You are the eternal Lord over me. But then he talks about how God changes the seasons, how God removes kings and raises up new ones. As he's honoring God and having an intimate moment with God, he knows and gets a revelation that God removes kings, has the power to do that, and God puts kings in place. Rulers come from God. So just a reminder for you, as I said before, because Jesus is the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the President of Presidents, he has the power to remove presidents and leaders, and he has the power to install presidents and leaders. Now, am I saying that in a democracy, when we vote for a president, we shouldn't do so because God is bringing in leaders? Absolutely not. God has given us an opportunity to live in a democracy where we can pick our presidents and leaders. All I'm saying is, whoever the leader is in that moment, we are to honor God for him, and we are to honor him because God has placed him. Now, as Daniel has a conversation with Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and tells him this dream, Daniel chapter 2, verse 37 says this: "You, O king, are a king of kings, for the God of heavens has given you a kingdom, power, strength, and glory. And wherever the children of men dwell, or the beasts of the field and the birds of heaven, he has given them into your hand, and has made you ruler over them all." First of all, I love the way that Daniel goes into the presence of the king, who is the most powerful king on the earth at the time, and is brave enough to tell him that whatever you have, all the power that you have, you may be called the King of Kings, but remember, God, who is above you, has given you the authority. Every living thing, every man, every beast, every animal that lives on this earth, you have it in your hand, and you possess it, and you own it, but there is an owner above you who has given them in your hands. God has made you king. And even as Daniel is telling this to Nebuchadnezzar, the one thing is prominent, and it's beautiful. Daniel doesn't come into the presence of the king as a snotty brat or someone that's protesting against the king. He comes in very humbly and honors the king. He says, "You, O king, are a king of kings." He comes and honors the king because he knows that he's appointed, anointed, and put over Daniel by God. So what am I saying with all of this? All I'm saying is, we may not agree with the leadership that is above us today. We may not understand what's happening in this world. There is so much happening right now, but we need to understand the reason why we have so many people being dishonoring to our leaders. There's so much happening in this world where an urge of protesting against our leadership is in our hearts. Is actually a supernatural power. It's a demonic spirit. It's the spirit of division. It's a spirit of divorce that runs in us. And we need to rebuke it, and we need to make sure that we're aligned with God. I know there are things happening in this world and in our country especially that make it really hard for us to live normally. And I understand that. I know life is getting more and more difficult. But I just want to remind you today that the Lord our God is King of kings and Lord of lords. And he has appointed leadership above us. A God that has created you. He is our Father, and he loves us immensely. When you honor the leadership that is given to you, the leadership that is above you, it could be your parents, it could be your pastors in churches, it could be any leadership figure at work, it could be your president. When you honor your leaders, you honor God, because God has placed them in your life. So I just wanted to encourage all of you today, as you're celebrating President's Day, as you're honoring the presidents that have come before us, who have paved the way for us into progression, who have given their lives for this country, and the president who is currently in this country. If you honor them, even with their faults, God delights in it. And if it's hard to honor them, pray for them. We are called to pray for our leadership, as Daniel did. Daniel prayed and then brought in the interpretation of the dream. So as believers, we're called to do that. And if you're not a believer and you're watching this video, you know there is a God who is king over everything. If you are disturbed and living in anxiety as to what's going to happen next, I know a God who is fully man and fully God, who understands exactly how you feel, who knows everything about you and about this country and about the leadership above you. Trust in him. Pray to him. Ask him today. Ask him, Jesus, I need you today. I need your wisdom. I need discernment. Lord, I need you in my life so I can live in this difficult world and feel safe. When we accept Jesus into our hearts, the Word of God says there is fullness of joy in the presence of the Lord. Feel and live in the fullness of joy. And I hope this video helped you today. If you liked it, please like and subscribe to my channel. Comment down below and let me know how you felt about what I was saying. If you agree with me, disagree with me, If you have a different stance, I would love to learn more about it. Thanks for watching. God bless you. I love you. I'm praying for you. Enjoy the holiday.